So I want to thank everyone for joining us today, and certainly want to thank the leaders of our safety department, Executive Director O'Malley, of course, the members of our uniformed public safety departments for being here, and to Athena, who has really led the way and helping to transform and innovate our 9/11 services. Thank you as well for your leadership. The number one assignment for government, particularly local government, is the safety of its residents. And it's something that certainly I care deeply about, and certainly the men and women of our safety department care a great deal about. I'm excited to unveil new ways in which we are strengthening the fabric of our safety net. Last year alone, Denver 9/11 received over 1 million calls for service, a 10% increase from the year before. As more people are drawn to this great city of ours, we must enhance our response system to meet our residents' needs in a meaningful way, and that's exactly what 9/11 Now aims to do. Whether it's accessing important information from first responders before they arrive, providing real-time alerts about emergencies occurring in Denver neighborhoods, or letting people know when to send a text message for help, Denver 9/11 is giving residents the information and service they need now. So I celebrate the innovation in serving the community Denver 9/11 has demonstrated by implementing the services you will learn about today. That innovative spirit is one of the many reasons the center was awarded, and I didn't even know this until this morning. So congratulations, 9/11. The 2016 Community Communications Center of the Year by the National Emergency Number Association and the Association of Public Safety Officials. And of course, as I mentioned, Athena Butler, she was just awarded because of her leadership and vision, the 2016 Colorado Communications Center Director of the Year Award. So again, Athena, we congratulate you for your leadership. So before I bring on Stephanie O'Malley, Executive Director of Safety for the City of Denver, this system, if you can imagine what Ms. Butler is going to tell us about in just a few moments, a young person who is at home and has discovered that someone or has heard someone enter their home and is hiding in a closet. Just imagine the ability to text, as many of our young people do so well and so quickly, and so thoroughly, as my daughter demonstrates to me every day, where the assailant is, or the fact where they may be sitting in the house, or just think most recently in Orlando, as everyone was texting, the ability to alert 9/11 on what's going on, as well as where the shooter may be in the building. So this is a powerful, powerful moment in the life of our city, and I'm excited about what we're going to hear today. So with that, let me bring up our Safety Director for the City and County of Denver, Stephanie O'Malley.
Thank you, Mayor. I absolutely share your pride in Denver's 911 and in the service our other safety agencies, of course, provide to our residents each and every day. Whether they need police assistance, fire service, or medical attention, we strive to give residents the help they need when they need it. One of the ways that the Department of Public Safety does this is by constantly looking at ways to enhance emergency response services to the residents of Denver. We evaluate how we serve the public with an eye towards assessing if there is a way that we can do it even better. Whether that is hiring more police officers to patrol Denver streets and prevent crime, adding fire stations to ensure quick responses to those in need, or improving the way in which we, our residents, can reach us in an emergency, we continue to drive exceptional public safety service delivery. In addition to serving the community in a greater way, 911 Now will also help the Department of Public Safety improve its efficiencies. It will help us to reach more residents when there is an emergency in their area. It will help us locate those in need much quicker, as the mayor alluded to, and it will also allow us to communicate with those who cannot call us for help but need it just the same. The objective is simple: save time and save lives. To share more about 911 Now and how it will further the strength of Denver's emergency response system, it is my pleasure now to introduce Athena Butler, our Director of 911.
Thank you, Executive Director O'Malley. 911 Now is Denver's toolbox for enhanced emergency response. It includes 3 key tools that will help residents get the assistance and information they need now. The first tool is Smart 911. Smart 911 is a private, secure service that allows residents to create a safety profile that provides 911 and emergency responders with important information residents want them to know about them, their family members and pets, their home, and their vehicles in any kind of emergency. The information in the profile automatically displays on the 911 call taker screen when an emergency call is placed from a phone number connected to the profile. These details can save seconds or even minutes during an emergency. That saved time can make a big difference when the caller cannot communicate, when a member of a household goes missing, or when the address or location where help is needed is unknown. The second tool is Swift 911. Swift 911 is Denver's high-speed emergency notification system that alerts residents to emergency situations in their neighborhood like police activity, evacuations, and severe storm warnings in real time. Residents decide how they want to receive these alerts, via phone, mobile phone, email, text message, or a combination of each, and multiple phone numbers can be included for each residency. The third tool is Text to 911. This service supports our residents who are deaf, hard of hearing, or speech impaired. It can also be used when residents are unable to speak as a result of an injury or medical emergency, facing a threatening situation where a voice call could increase the threat or compromise safety, in a remote location or area with limited coverage, and a text message is the only option to request emergency services, or in an area where the phone lines and cell towers are overwhelmed and only a text can get through to request emergency services. Together, these 3 tools will help us be there when our residents need it the most. And before we take questions, we would like to share 3 short videos with you.
911 Now is Denver's toolbox for enhanced emergency response.
From setting up a profile so first responders know important information before they arrive,
to receiving real-time information on emergencies occurring in your area,
to learning when you can text an emergency to Denver 911.
911 Now offers the tools you need to get the help and information you need now.
Save time, save lives. 911 Now.
SB map page, Lima 26, reported structure fire at 999 South Claremont Street, for engine 5, engine 19, truck 19, tower 15, truck 8 as you're at, rescue T3, T4, ops 2. Be advised we have multiple calls.
We're on Lima 26, fire attack channel 3. We have a note here that says we've got a wheelchair-bound adult and 2 dogs in the house.
And with that, we'll open it up to any questions.
It was obvious in the video there, but can you explain how it is that you sign up get your profile into the system?
Number one, if you go to the website, all of the links for Smart 911 and Swift 911 are on our website, denvergov.org/911now. So the links for Smart 911 are on there, and for Swift 911. Text to 911, you can just do it from your phone. You just text 911 and it will send it to our call takers, and they will respond and start a back and forth conversation with you. You do not have to sign up for that service. Yes, Bruce.
What impact do you see this having to the deaf, hard of hearing, and speech impaired community?
Huge impact. They are a community that regularly texts in terms of their form of communication. So now this will give them primary access equal to what all of us who are able to speak and dial 911 are able to have. So this equals, makes it level for everyone.
You see the PSAs. Can you talk about the outreach of trying to get people to sign up for this program? Do you have any expectations of how many people will?
It's going to be hard to say on the expectations. Initially, when things are first announced, is when you get the largest number of people that will sign up. We're going to work with our partners, with the police department, fire department, and EMS, and any other services that we can do outreach, as well as run these PSAs to get people to the location to sign up. It will also be available through PocketGov at some point as well. Yes, ma'am.
Now, we've seen in other counties, other police departments, they have this text to 911 feature. Obviously, we have this Swift and the Smart 911, but what took so long to get this text to 911 feature? Why now?
We've actually been running a pilot with this since March. So we've had this pilot for about 110 days. That got our employees used to using the service in addition to taking calls. And during that time, we've averaged 3 to 5 texts already per day. So now that we have the public announcement, we anticipate we will receive more each day. So it's not that it took so long. You have to give the carriers so much time to actually set it up. They need 6 months notice. And then within that time, we have to do the testing. But then we also wanted our employees to be very comfortable and ready when these started coming in. And we've had some incidents that they have processed through the texting since we've been doing it since March.
Can you talk about some of the challenges you've had during that pilot program and what those specifically were and how you've addressed them?
Not so many of the challenges on text to 911. Our biggest part was determining what our messages would say, what's the location of your emergency. We still need to know where you are because the mapping system right now that's tied to text to 911 is not as detailed as the mapping that's tied to a phone call from a landline phone. Nothing matches that mapping system yet. That's something the carriers are still working on. So getting a person's location and or if they're moving, trying to figure out where they're moving and tracking that are some of the challenges, and some of those are more industry versus our challenges. Smart 911, it was getting it to work on all of our systems to be able to put it on the MDTs that our uniform responders are using as well so that they can have that information available to them. So we've been beta testing and working through those things to get this up and ready to make sure we're 100%.
Can you send videos and pictures?
No, we're not at the point, and no one, for the most part, is at a point of video and pictures. Not through the services with the way that we are using them. Through the Smart 911 app, you can put your family's photos, your dog photos, your vehicle photos, and those things will populate, but not through text to 911. So this really gives an enhanced approach for our citizens to be able to provide information ahead of time. And then if they ever need to text, we get just the wording from the texting. And we will always ask a person when it comes to text to 911, if they have the ability to call 911, it's much better to do that because we can hear what's going on, we can pick up any background noise. So if they have that capability, we will always ask that question first.
Do you have to be within the city limits of Denver to use text to 911?
No, you don't have to be within the city limits. It all depends on who has that service turned on. But the FCC has put in place that if it's not available where you are, you will get a bounce back message that says call 911.
Are you anticipating the text to 911 to cut down on the increased number of calls, or are you going to have the same number of calls and then text to deal with on top of that? And are your people equipped and ready to handle all of that?
We're equipped and ready to handle all the calls that come in. You know, every now and then we do have calls that may go on hold because you get such a large influx of calls because over 90% of our calls come in from mobile devices. So from those mobile devices, we get repeat calls. So far, what we're seeing is it's not at 3 to 5 a day, and even if it moved to 10 to 15 per day, we're ready to handle that. What I anticipate at the onset is that we will have some people testing the system and just sending a test to the text system. So we will quickly clear those out if it's just a test. But those who really need the service, we will handle them just like a 911 call.
When you're putting a profile in about where you live and who's in the house and all those kinds of things, I think one of the things that comes to mind to people is the security of that information. Can you speak about that?
The company that hosts that service, they have the secure service. It's not hosted by us. It's only delivered to us when you make that 911 call and it attaches to your profile. The good thing about if you register for Smart 911, any other locality that is using Smart 911 will also get your profile. So if you're visiting somewhere else or if someone comes here from Nashville, because I know that's one of the places that has it, and they dial 911, their profile will still populate. But we don't own that profile. That profile only populates when they dial 911. And then it attaches to a call, and only as long as that call is held is while that profile is available. So it is secure. We don't have access to go in and look up people's profiles or anything like that.
Do you have the capability to answer text messages if they come in another language?
We do. We can translate. Right now, we're using Google Translation for that, and we have done that already before. We have a good number of people who are Spanish speaking, so if it comes in Spanish, we can pretty much interpret on site. If it seems confusing through the Google, we can use our translation service that we use on a regular basis.
Are your operators having text message conversations with people? I know you said it's important that they include an address or a location. Can you tell me more, things like that, about just when somebody sends a text, how that operator goes about the next few steps?
So when a text is received, the first thing they will ask is, 1, can you call? 2, what's the location of your emergency? To determine if they actually have an emergency, and it is a back and forth conversation. What we can't do is initiate a text out, but once a text comes to us and drops into the system, now we can have that two-way conversation as if we're on a phone call with them. We have very specific questions, standardized questions that they are trained to ask. So they're going to verify the address, try to verify a telephone number in case they have to try to call them. So it goes back and forth. It is a two-way conversation. Any more questions?
A question for Mayor Hancock, if possible. Just about the stories we've seen in the news lately, the 16th Street Mall issues, along with the Cherry Creek Trail. I'm wondering, a lot of people have said the city has an image problem. I'm wondering if you could address that.
Denver is a great city. I'm not sure that our image is changing because we have these moment-in-time issues that we're dealing with. We're going to address them. We're not unlike many big cities across the country who have these moments where we have to address issues such as, the issues along the mall and along the trail. The question becomes, and I think whether or not you develop that image and it perpetuates itself, is whether or not you address it. And I can tell you that with a very keen sense of urgency that the police department and other agencies are working to address the issue along the mall. As you saw last week, we talked about all the things we're doing there, and that there is a multi-agency response moving to address the issue along the creek.
Can I get your reaction to that video that we saw?
Which video?
Along the trail, the video.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, same reaction you probably had or anyone in Denver sitting at home had. It's disturbing. And anyone who has had a family member who has suffered from drug addiction, we understand how deep and how foreboding the disease of addiction is. And so to see anyone along the trail or anywhere else in the city sitting there shooting up and doing what they were doing along the mall is very disturbing. And we know residents in Denver should experience that. And certainly we must move in with a deep understanding and sense of firm compassion because this is an illness, it's a disease that we have to address. We just can't, and I think Sonny Jackson said it very well the other day, this is not something you arrest your way out of. These individuals who are sick with this disease will move to another location. We need to make sure that we address it with the comprehensive services so we can help them move along and get well. Otherwise, we'll never solve the challenge. Okay? Thank you.
Also, slightly unrelated, you sent out a tweet earlier today, some current events. Just wanted to give you a chance to address that if you would like to.
You must be referencing the recent shootings of African American men. And my tweet simply said, I'm grieving. I'm a father of an African American young man. Just yesterday I was in conversation with a cabinet member whose son sent an email to her about the pain he was feeling and the sense of confusion and frustration behind these shootings. This morning when I woke up, I had received a text from my son, who sent me the video and asking the question, Daddy, what's going on here? These tragedies impact the deepest part of the soul of this nation. And I'm grieving. I think our young men of color in this nation are very confused, frustrated, and pained by what is happening. Our American society, has a part of it that's not well. And as a society, we all, civilians and uniformed law enforcement, must commit to addressing the illness that we have. And what we are seeing today is not okay. Enough is enough, and we simply have to commit to working together. We have to address it together. Not addressing is not an option. we're all paying, and it's only going to get worse if our young men of color in particular feel like they have to bear arms and protect themselves. We're going to continue to see these confrontations occur, and I think America is better than that. America has to be better than that. Thank you all.